Right, sick. Here we are. Back in the craft of the mines, playing in a new place today. Same old world. We have an audience. If you hear any squeaky toys or miscellaneous noises, there's a puppy running around. Never a bad thing. Uh, there was some I was kind of sitting with earlier today that I wanted to kind of make a point of talk about during this, and that was, I guess, money, finances. I'm in another one of those cycles where I'm like feeling a little burnt out, feeling a little bit just tired and exhausted, like pretty consistently past week or so. There have been some I wouldn't call them necessarily radical changes made to my life, but some pretty worthwhile changes. I cut back on a couple bad habits, or I cut back on one. Okay, I don't even want to call it a bad habit. The only reason I believe it's a bad habit is because people on the internet tell me it's a bad habit. But there's an aspect of it that is a bad habit, and now I'm relating to self-pleasuring and masturbation. Now I've past 2 weeks have been quote unquote better than I had been the weeks prior to that. I guess disclaimer, this is going to be some explicit content talked about in this video. Good thing I don't make these videos for kids. Anyways, I've been going in this loop of, trying to quit, failing, trying to quit, failing, trying to quit, failing. Also been down this path before where I'm like, well, do I have to quit? Is it really necessary to quit? What is my goal here? And truthfully, there really isn't a strong goal. Like, there's no substantially impactful reason why I even find myself doing this in the first place. And I suspect, in large part, that's part of my issue. I don't have a deliberate and coherent front to even wage this battle. Right? It's, from my perspective, it's really not even something detrimental to my life now or ever has been, really. Of course, there is a clear argument and case of saying that it's something I'm addicted to, which is true. That I cannot deny. Cannot deny being addicted to it. Simple truth is, it feels great. Floods my brain with all these happy chemicals, and actually seems to reduce stress and overall seems to leave me feeling better after the fact than beforehand. I have been down a route where I tried to, do an experiment and see objectively if it's actually causing me any detriment. And that can, and that experiment, I suppose, has yielded mixed results, because something I'm experiencing now, which previously that I had attributed to that this habit, is happening, and the habit isn't. So there's no clear. There's it's. I mean, there isn't really a clear connection that I can draw between the habit and the way I'm feeling. I thought the burnout was a direct result of the habit, but now I'm still feeling the burnout, but actually haven't been partaking in the habit. I know I just did the same thing like twice. And I'm still, I wouldn't say struggling to understand, but like I just don't have a very strong justification as to why I should quit in the first place. Granted, an aspect of it that I do understand quitting is porn. Porn is inherently, I don't want to say evil. It's not wholesome. At least a lot of it isn't. A lot of it is very much not great content. But what is true is there's still like take porn out of the picture. I still can have a lot of the same benefits without any of the negatives that I do actually correlate directly to pornography. That is to say, the habit itself, how did you, did this cow escape from somewhere? The fuck? Is there a way that cow got out of there? What the fuck? Oh yeah, right there. Yep, okay. Not anymore. Because I've done research. Is it, doctorate level, graduate thesis research? Probably not. A couple few Google searches and like some critical thinking and connecting some dots, But from that research, I've been able to draw a handful of conclusions that lead me to believe that masturbation in and of itself is not harmful. It's not harmful, and in several ways can be classified as physically beneficial to the human body. There are genuine benefits that happen, or that are, I guess, measurable from taking part. Couple that with the fact that there is not, like, the only justification I can come up for quitting is the idea that I have to create a space or need to have a woman in my life, that is to say that it sounds very shallow, but ultimately like the real kind of purpose of human life is to create more, as is with any biological life. We can argue that all we want, but ultimately, like, we don't need each other for any other reason than to create another human. Which implies, like, yeah, I don't need a woman in my life. And so I tried to logic this by saying, well, if I stop masturbating, then in order to feel that pleasure, I need a woman in my life. That's the mental gymnastics I'm playing there. And whoa. What the fuck are y'all doing over here? Y'all trying to fuck around and find out? Let's go. There ain't no village around here, though. What is going on? Sick. Well, they're dead. They got fucked up. I'm playing this like Terraria with all my fucking banners. And I mean, it's really not even that strong of a reason for me right now to say I need a woman just for that. It's like it just doesn't. It's not. It doesn't hold enough weight to justify actually quitting. And then there's another argument where it's like, oh, I want to exercise willpower over my mind and force myself to be a certain way and control my domain. And as I look at that, I start to feel just not like it doesn't feel right to look at it like that either. I don't know what I'm about to build, but I kind of want to just start building something. So I can't look at it like I get it. I've done this thing where I feel weak when I succumb to these urges, when I succumb to the desire to get off. There's a part of me that feels weak. It's like, oh, I should be able to control my mind. Which is such a bizarre, like, thought process when you really think about it. I mean, I think to some extent we all have this like fantasy to control everything. I don't know what I'm building, but it's going to be something eventually. Kind of interesting looking. These three. Why is it already getting dark again? What the hell? Ah, and more logs. I had to plant some more. I had used all my oak to make fences. I know I said I was going to talk about money today, but I got down this rabbit hole, and I'm just going to stick with it. It is interesting. Oops. For the record, I have no plan here. I'm just building. I'm building in a way I've never really built before either. It turn into something either horrendous or really cool. So I guess we'll find out eventually. Oh, that was fast. My thinking is it's all going to be kind of built into the mountain. That's what this is going to go to. Again, just circling back, I don't have a real good reason to stop. In fact, I have many reasons to continue. Because truthfully, I enjoy the experience. Can the argument be made that sex itself is better? Yes, of course. Sex is 100% better. But in my current state, not only is having sex not practical, being with a woman is, and I've seen this video, it says like, oh, people make this excuse simply because they're scared of just talking to women. Yeah, that's partly true. But it's also partly true that I just don't want to fucking put up with it. Right? I don't, like, I want the good that comes from a relationship, but I don't want to deal with the bullshit. I don't feel a need or a desire to put up with anything that disturbs my peace. I've put a lot of work in to have the level of peace that I have now, and quite frankly, I don't want to jeopardize that. I don't want to jeopardize that peace. I don't want to take away from that peace. It's just not something I'm willing to do right now. Regardless of how much I crave intimacy and how much I crave the female body, Those cravings just they do not mean enough for me to be willing to sacrifice my peace as much as and I guess it also depends on the woman. It does ultimately depend on the woman as well. There may be someone super awesome out there that wouldn't fuck with my peace at all and actually be super fun to be around and super attractive and yada yada, checks all the boxes and what have you. I'm about to die. And of course, I would never stumble across that woman if I never pursue any. Which is a fair argument to make. I mean, at the end of the day, though, I know I don't need it. I'm proving that to myself every single day that I don't need it. It's just like this desire that lingers and sits up within my mind, even though it's not really something that is even explicitly necessary. In a lot of ways, maybe isn't even necessary at all, unless I want to reproduce, which at some point I do. But right now, no. So if I don't explicitly want to do that right now, then I don't actually have a need for a woman. It's just not there. Because I have a pretty good imagination. I am going to quit porn, and that's a hard one because even that, it's a slippery slope. But what I do know from this whole fucking thing is that my life is better when I'm able to get off with or without a woman. I feel less guilty and shameful when I don't use porn. But I don't need a woman. And there's a part of me that gets all sad and, oh, yes, you do. You have to have a woman in your life. Well, no, I don't. No. Nope, not true. Is my mind playing tricks on me? I also know that the longer I go abstaining from any sort of orgasm, the more likely it is to happen beyond my control. I do feel kind of defeated, even like, oh, I'm giving into my addiction, and oh, wait, but I've quit so many fucking things in my life. Like, let me keep one for fuck's sake. Everybody has their vice, and you know what? Maybe mine is masturbation. At least it's a vice that doesn't negatively impact me in any way, shape, or form. Unless I overindulge, in which case it's not even really masturbation's fault. It's just bad planning, you know? What if this was a little gateway back to exactly right there is where I'm trying to go. Oh, fuck. You build scaffolding. Bamboo, isn't it? Yeah. Fuck. I have to find a jungle. Oops. It's stuck in an alt tab. I need to. I've been like pushing back my time for this to do this like all day. Now that I'm doing it, it's like I want to keep doing it. It's funny. The irony of that is astounding, to be honest with you. Should update my calendar. I don't think I've seen a jungle in this world, to be honest with you. I think there needs to be another something over here, maybe. I kind of want to. None of this is probably gonna stay the way it is. I've never built anything like this before. I think it's a sick concept. It's actually like almost perfect. This might have to change a little bit. Again, I don't know what any of this is going to be. None of this seems to be final form. But it is a step in the direction. I guess I might have to label this. I might have to put a disclaimer in the descriptions, like TMI on this episode and shit. Fucking, it's a little bit too personal. The thing is, though, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. There'd be people out there that would probably applaud me for my bravery and, oh, you're so brave for talking about these deep-rooted issues that pretty much every man faces, but we never talk about because that feeling of judgment, of potential judgment, is just too strong, and we just none of us want to be judged. But the funny thing is we're all made in the image of God, and God is the greatest judge of them all. So we don't judge each other. I think next episode I might go down a slippery slope of talking about religion, the exact opposite of this episode. Self-fornication and religion kind of don't go hand in hand, if you're asking me. Well, I guess if you're asking me, they go perfectly hand in hand because they're like two sides of the same coin. But ask any like religious zealot, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, no, you can't touch yourself. That's a sin. You are the devil because you play with your pee-pee." What? That's what I'm saying. What? You're telling me, you're telling me that God gave us a device that feels super good, is meant to create more life, and it's wrong to touch it and not create life with it? You're telling me I have to use it to create more life? Like that's the only option? I mean, if you look at it biology, if you take God out of the picture, then that's why it feels good. But if you put God back in the picture, why does it feel good if he doesn't want you to do it? Well, he does, but then why does it feel like, why does it become so overwhelming? Like, if that's the only time you're supposed to use it, why do you not have direct power over it to control it to however you see fit? This is a lot of cows. Well, these two got a mate too. These two in the corner over here, being all fornicaty and shit. I can actually slaughter all of these chickens though, can't I? Because we've got infinite eggs, and I need feathers. Maybe. I don't actually know if I need feathers anymore or not. I've got so many arrows at this point. Cool thing is I can just like stockpile eggs and then just call the egg farm. No dark spots allowed. Okay. Speaking of eggs, how many do we have? A fuckload. Jesus. That was 30 minutes of fucking in-game time. Got me that many goddamn eggs. Jesus, and look at all, oh my god, and the trees are taking over. Okay, how long have I been recording? Just my stopwatch, like I always do, 33 minutes. So I'm going to cut these trees down and I'm going to call it quits for this episode. And to be honest, I might not even edit these today. I might just make another one and start stockpiling them up for a little bit, because these, I don't edit these, so it's super easy for me to just throw one in after another and get a whole bunch of these made at once. There's probably more bullshit up there that I gotta cut down. Okay, but I do need to get, let me sleep and then I'll get it in the day. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble on about personal life issues. What's great is I blame myself, you know? It's like I look at an issue like that and I'm like, oh, I'm so messed up. I'm such a terrible person because I can't control my brain. I can't control my biological desire to like reproduce. Oh, yeah. I was gonna try to get a record there, but it blew up in my face. It sure did, didn't it? Fuck you up, creeper. Fucked yourself up, creeper. You fucked. What I need to do is I need to let it go. Like, I need to stop like valuing myself less because I do this. Like I enjoy it. I enjoy it. It makes me feel good. Doesn't hurt anyone. Doesn't hurt me. It actually benefits me, reduces my likelihood of prostate cancer, you know, reduces cortisol, stress hormones, it's actually beneficial to the human body. But because some gumbo on the internet said, "Oh, that no fat, fucking if you touch yourself, you're a sin, you're a sinner, you're wrong, you're faulty, you're a demon, you're fucked up." Like, oh my god. What, you want me to buy your fucking course? You want me to subscribe to your membership? Take advantage of my fucking weaknesses? Take advantage of my insecurity so you can make money? Not to call anyone out specifically, but the untethered, I'm using a synonym synonym. The untethered guide. I get those ads on fucking Instagram and YouTube, and I'm like, bro, it's just like, oh, so many people are addicted to this because they can't find their core root problem, and I'm gonna tell you your core root problem and solve every one of your problems. You just have to pay me a large amount of money to be a part of this group. And honestly, that's more sinful than actually touching yourself. Taking advantage of people's like most intimate and most likely insecure parts of themselves to make money for yourself. Like, oh my god. I get it. He's acting. They're not he specifically. They're acting under the guise of, "Oh, we're gonna improve your life. You're gonna be a better husband, a better father. You're gonna be a better man. You're gonna be able to change more lives." What? Because I quit masturbating? Okay, I get the porn. I get not watching porn, but there's this underlying like connection between porn use and masturbation. It's almost like you say one, you imply the other, even if you're not necessarily talking about the other. I don't have a problem with masturbation. I understand porn addiction because that is kind of a little bit strange. Like, if you're married to a woman and you're watching porn, it's like, if you're even dating a woman and you're watching porn, that's where I draw the line. But if you're dating a woman and you masturbate because it's out of her, fucking cool. That's actually probably awesome. I would go as far as saying that's very awesome. Any hoozles. I'm going to wrap this episode up there. I'll see you back for the next one. Probably going to talk about some of the same stuff. Maybe we'll talk about money. Maybe we'll talk about religion. We will see. But I hope you enjoyed my ramblings. If you got some value out of it, hit that like button, leave a comment. What do you think? Do you think I'm full of shit? Do you think all this is shenanigans? Do you agree with some of the stuff I've said? I don't know. Let me know. Other than that, I'll see y'all later.